Welcome to the Ladies Kickin' Ass podcast, where we help you ignite your inner badass and create the service business of your dreams. I'm your host, Tanya Wilson, and together we'll dive into inspiring stories and expert coaching to set your journey on fire. Hey ladies, welcome back to the podcast. I'm so excited to have all of you here with me today. I just got off an incredible meeting with some of my peers in a group that I am a part of. It's kind of like a little mastermind group, an accountability group. It's just, I don't even know if I can put a label on it because I can see it developing and it's so incredibly beautiful that I'm just ecstatic. But one topic that was introduced today was talking about taking your teams from good to great. And one thing that I love more than anything in the world is learning how to help develop myself and help be a better person for my family, for my team, and so that I can show up and be more confident. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is such a great podcast topic. And we just got to dive into it and we got to go through some stuff. So I made a couple of notes and I just want to share some things with you in a quickie episode and just get you kind of thinking. You know, a lot of us are still doing planning around maybe doing a big team meeting. I know mine is on Valentine's Day. I am just booking the whole day on a Friday for my team and we're going to get together and we're going to make a game plan for what this year looks like. I always pick a word for the year, and I'm still working on that for my team this year, but there's just so much power in getting together and setting a vision. And that's what I want to talk to you about first, is setting clear and inspiring goals through your business and then letting your team know why. I think that's one of the most important things is sometimes we forget as leaders. And something that was shared with me today was that someone in this group had said that they actually hold space for the people on their team to be able to ask the question, why? I'm going to let you think about that for a minute because at first I was like, why? Like, why would you do that? But it made total sense because by allowing your team to hold space to ask you why we ask them to do certain things, why we use this software, why we can't get this fixed, why this is an expectation, why they can't have as much overtime as they want, why they can't get a pay raise, why does it look like the business is making tons of money, but at the end of the day, it seems like we're not making tons of money. Giving them the space to ask their whys, I think is so incredibly powerful, and I can't wait to do this at my team meeting. In fact, I'm going to send an agenda out beforehand and just be like, okay, we're going to have a section where you get to ask why. And you don't even have to be the person doing this. You can submit them anonymously through this form, but this is a section we're going to be at, and I'm going to randomly pick some of the whys, and I'm going to address them. Holding space for them to be able to challenge what decisions you make as a leader is next level shit. I was so inspired by that. Many times as leaders, we feel like, one, we put a ton of pressure on ourselves that we have to have all the answers for everything. And God knows that's not true. Many times they think we have the answers that they need, and sometimes we don't. And sometimes we need to lean on them for that. It's also great for them to be able to provide feedback on maybe some systems or processes or software or equipment that we're using that really isn't super helpful to them. We're not doing their jobs every single day. So how can we allow them to be part of the decision-making process? I truly feel that if you want a badass team, you have to get them to buy into the vision of what the company is trying to accomplish, what you're trying to build there. Because when they have skin in the game, even if that's just their decisions, they are way more likely to show up and perform day in and day out. That is going to help you build that business. And so incredibly cool that we're open as leaders to be vulnerable enough to say, I don't know this shit. I don't know. What do you guys think? I think it's a really cool place to be at. So that's one of the very first important ones, is setting a powerful vision and then being super clear about what those goals are for the business this year. Second one that I want to talk about is building a culture of connection and trust. So at this team meeting, I'm going to do some icebreakers. We're going to figure out and get to know each other at a more personal level. It'd be so great if everybody could just bring in 5 things that you may not know about me. I mean, how hard would that be to go through things? 5 things you may not know about me. It's just the little tiny things that maybe you can connect with that you might not think that you ever even had in common. And that's so cool, because when people realize they're working with other people, it's not just another employee or another team member that they work with at their business. They become more invested in what they do for each other and for their work. Think about it. If 2 people get along really well and they're trying to help each other out, they don't leave shitty situations for someone else to come back behind in. They want to leave it the way they would like to have it left. And that all starts by having a great work culture. So what can you do in your business this year to really elevate that? And my biggest gift to you would be to get personal. Get to know them. Get to know what their kids' names are. Get to know something big they're looking forward to this year. Every year at my business, I have a big goals board that we put up in our foyer area where everybody tends to walk through at least a couple times a week. Even the technicians out in the field come in and chit chat with our office staff, and they look at those. Everything's written on Post-it notes. And as they accomplish goals that they've set for themselves, both professionally and personally, they get to take them off the board. And it's so cool to be able to watch them come in the office, and they often stand in front of that board. They're inspired by what other people are doing, and they are reminded of what goals they set out for that year. And I think that that is an incredible way to connect your team. The third thing I'd love to talk about is empowering your team with tools and knowledge. Is there something that you know your office staff needs to be better at dispatching or routing, or maybe even better tools to, post out social media content? Maybe they need a better camera to take pictures with. Maybe your staff just keeps having out in the field issues. I know for us, we have a trailer that we pull behind one of our pump trucks, and the damn lights are always a mess. They're a hot mess all the time. There's a short. There's something burnt out. There's this, there's that. Just fix the wiring on the trailer so that we don't have to keep dealing with it. When you invest in the equipment that these people are using every single day out in the field, they feel valued because they don't feel like we're giving them shit equipment that they then have to try to tinker together to get their jobs done. If we want them to do a good job and to put a great, how would you even say it? If you want your customers to think, this is a high-level badass company, you got to show up with great equipment. You have to invest where it's important and really teaching them how to use those things. In all the stuff we're doing in setting up the franchise, it is so fascinating to me how much of my office software is so clunky and that we have so many damn programs in our tech deck that there's no way in hell we're using this the way that we should. And we're redundantly paying for stuff that another program does. So maybe doing an audit of your office processes. I would challenge you to sit down with your office staff if you have one and be like, look, where's your pain points? How can we fix this? Because many times they just get used to using the clunkiness and they just don't say anything. I know when my office coordinator, Lauren, goes out on vacation, every time she comes back, she's probably like, what the hell is this? Because now I've been sitting at the desk filling in for her for some of those roles, and I can see how clunky some of this stuff is. And I'm like, why the hell are we doing it this way? But back when I was doing it, it made sense because we didn't have other programs. Now I know that there's other programs out there that can solve the issues that we have. I mean, it was seriously as simple as like they're attaching 3 PDFs to one document that they send out with an estimate packet all the time. Like, why the hell aren't those just all put together So you're not searching for 3 different documents. It was something really simple I was able to do for her to help it be better when she came back. All those little things too just help with the efficiency of your business. So pour into that this year. And I know it's long and painful. I've been in a meeting with one of my franchise partners for 3 days. And at the end of the day, like, we're both so damn worn out from going through software and setting up new estimating templates and figuring out and configuring this new software that we're using. At the end of the day, you're like, did we even get anything done? But oh my gosh, there's so many ideas running through my head just 2 days later after that of things I can't wait to sit down when I have time this weekend and put together and implement, because I know it's going to be a great tool for my estimating team. And we'll be able to close more sales. And I mean, for hell's sakes, that's the whole reason why we're in business, right? Like, we got to close the sales. Many times we're not closing sales because our processes suck, or they're too clunky, or we're too laggy and we can't get estimates out on time, or they don't look professional, or we don't know what the costs are and we're just throwing shit against the wall, seeing what sticks. Got to dial it in. This year is the year that we dial it in. I'm talking to myself here. I know it sounds like I'm on a soapbox, but I am so incredibly passionate about all the stuff I have to fix in my business this year. I'd love for you to join me on that crusade. Number 4, the role of accountability and feedback. This was my big one in accountability that I struggle with as far as leadership goes in my business. And I have to be vulnerable, and I have to say that, because how the fuck am I supposed to fix it if I don't admit there's a problem? Some of you need to rewind that and listen to it again. I love you, but you do, including myself. So one of the things that I know I struggle with is I am an immense people pleaser, and I don't want to rock the boat, and I want everybody to be in a good mood and no one to feel like I'm picking on them or things like that. And there was a beautiful comment that was made today that said, I don't ever have to fire people. The standard fires people. And I was like, whoa. What's the standard at your business? If you're unclear of what it is, and I'm going to be real honest with you, at that moment, I thought mine was clear, but it's obviously not. You need to set the standard. And this meeting that you may have with your team, you need to introduce it. This is a standard. And you know what? Maybe it's a new standard. Maybe you've never had a standard. Maybe you've had a standard, but it's half-ass. And you want to take your business from good to great. So we've got a new standard. And then hold them accountable to the new standard. Which I hate to say it, but it's true. That means you have to hold yourself to a new standard. If you are a manager or you are a business owner, that means you have to hold yourself to a new standard. That's a good one. That was so good. And on top of that, good point too here. So glad I have notes sometimes, because I just go off. I forget to say things, and then afterwards I'm like, damn it. If you're going to hold people accountable, you need to be really open to feedback. Because sometimes we need to hear where we're falling short for our team. And if you're brave enough, and if you really want to take your team from good to great, you'll be brave enough to ask for feedback every time you have an accountability conversation with somebody on your team. Every time. Allow them to ask why and take their feedback. Doesn't mean you have to answer them. Doesn't mean you have to argue about it. Doesn't mean that you have to appease them, but at least you know. Because I know sometimes we have those people on our team that are like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then, I agree with you. And then afterwards, they're like, well, that was fucking dumb, or I'm not going to do that. And then we don't hold them accountable to it. So ask for feedback and clarification when you set those new standards. What is the standard? Number 5, we're going to celebrate the wins that we have in this business. And in order to celebrate wins, that means we have to start measuring shit. If you're in a service business, I think this is something that most of us struggle with, is setting up metrics on how to know whether or not our business is successful. Many of us, for years and years, is like, hey, yo, how much money's in the checking account? Do we have some? Yay, we're winning. Or yay, we got a review, we're winning. That's not the metrics of what we should be measuring for success. We should be measuring progress. We should be measuring growth. We should be measuring them in little incremental areas as well. Did we get 10 new processes in the office this month? Bonus. Maybe you set up a challenge for people in your office and see who can record the most Loom videos to record the most processes and put them into a database where you're storing them to train future employees of your company. How can we incentivize? How can we do this? But one of the biggest things that I would recommend is setting up some kind of peer-to-peer recognition inside of your business. I use a program called Assembly. I know there's a lot of other ones out there. Just Google it. You'll find some where peer-to-peer they can recognize each other. It doesn't always have to come from you as their boss or their manager or the business owner. So figure out a way to make that happen for your team. It boosts morale so much, and it's really, really cool to see what people on your team are really thankful for. I honestly think it's really cool because you actually get to see what is important to those people that are on your team based upon what they recognize others for. Was it their time? Was it their energy coming out and helping them finish a job? Was it that they were kind? Was it that they demonstrated great customer service? Was it that they kicked ass and upsold a job, or, just showed up for them when they needed it? It's really cool to see what people value on your team. And then that just helps you as a leader because now you have all this information and you can utilize it. You know what talks to them. What's their love language? What's their love language at work? Do they like your time? Do they like your praise? Do they like more money? Do they like time off? Really helps to get to know that. Number 6. This is a big one. You have to lead by example. A culture is contagious, and that can be positive or negatively. And I think we've all been in a work environment where we can see the difference between those two. And you, as the owner, boss, leader of that business, sets the tone for what that looks like. And if you have managers that don't match your tone, get them up to your tone or get them the hell out. Because nothing will kill a small business faster than shitty morale and shitty work culture. Set a standard for yourself. Sit down and think about it. Okay, what is the standard of this business? What am I going to hold them to? What's going to take this company from good to great this year? Where am I involved in this? It all starts with me. I'm the owner of the business. And if you're the owner of the business, you're the end all be all in everything in that business. What standard are you going to set for yourself and communicate and demonstrate? The showing up is 99% of it to your team to motivate them to be better for themselves and better for the team. You really, 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 this is a good one. Number 7 is collaboration over communication. And in a group meeting I was in last week, we were having a conversation about how the really good people on the team don't necessarily want to hire other great people because they fear for their job, or they fear that they're going to take their sales, or they fear that they're going to show them up. And that's a real fear. Even if you've done enough personal development that you understand there's room for everyone, it's a real fear for a lot of people. So how do we make sure that they feel confident doing that? One of the best things that I was ever told before was tell them everything. Tell them everything. Teach them everything. Because if you provide good compensation, good whatever it is, their love language that they're there at that job floor and you provide a good environment for them to work on, they're not going anywhere. They'll stay and help you build. But if you don't invest in them and you don't teach them everything that you know, they're going to be a pain in your ass. You can teach them everything and treat them well enough to stay, or you can teach them nothing. And they may stay and they may go. But if they stay, now you've got somebody on payroll that you're paying to do nothing. We don't want that in our business anymore. If you have nothing doers or these quiet quitters or whatever the hell that terminology is, so stupid. Who came up with that? But it makes sense. You know, we all know, and we've all had people like that on our team. Get rid of them. This is the year we're not fucking around with C players. If you got a B player, how do I get them to an A? And the A players, how do I treat them really good to help bring these B players up to become A players? A players should be the standard. Remember, we're raising our standards because we're going from good to great this year. You have to have the right people on the team. And if they don't want to step up, and this is where the accountability comes in, then get them out and get someone else in there that will. And the last thing I want to talk to you about, I know this is 20 minutes rolling in here. I wanted to give you a quickie, but I'm so passionate about this stuff, is the ripple effect of an incredible internal community will build your business. Woo! That made me emotional. Faster than any marketing campaign you will ever do traditionally. There is no better publicity for your company. There's no better marketing for your company. There is no better way to build a business than to have a fucking rock star team internally. You know why? Because they put off a vibe that will attract other people to that tribe. We've all heard that saying before, your vibe attracts your tribe. You know what? You get to decide what that vibe is. As the owner or the manager, you get to set the tone for what the standard is for that vibe. My technicians come in and tell me all the time that they talk to people at the dump site who constantly ask them questions about coming to work for us. We have nice equipment. We have good people. They're nice. They seem happy. You know what? I think that's one of the craziest things is that's what they often say is that you guys seem like you're happy over there. What's going on over there that makes you so happy over there? Do you get good pay? You know, a lot of times in the home service industry, that's what people think that's all that matters because you go from one shit environment to another shit environment. I've shared many times on this podcast how so many people, when I ask them in an interview what is important to them in a leader or business owner, they say kindness. They say, please don't yell at me, which is so crazy to me that people would even say that. But it's an environment that we've chosen to work in. And if we want to elevate this industry as a whole, we got to show the fuck up a hell of a lot better than we have been doing. Because it's from examples that builds beautiful businesses. It totally is. When you get a group of people that work really well together and like each other, there's no stopping them. They want to do better for each other. They want to do better for the team. When they're bought in at a vision that's so much more than just them showing up and clocking in and clocking out, the game changes. And I know that you are strong enough to build that kind of culture inside of your company. And if you're not feeling super awesome about that, that's what Badass Inner Circle is for. So get your butt in the community and come hang out with us because I'll have you believing that you can fucking do anything. Because that's what we do there. And it's not just me, it's everybody else in the community. Because when you hang out with a group of women that want to win and want to see each other win as much as we do, we won't let you fail. Think about it. There's a link in the show notes if you want to check it out. And I think you should, because it's going to be super awesome. So what I would love to do is to hear from you. How you feel about this episode? What are you going to instill in your business this year? What are you going to do in your company to take it from good to great? Until next time, ladies, get out there, be an example, show up, set a new standard, and kick some ass. Thanks for being part of the Ladies Kickin' Ass community. Cheers to all you badass women out there. Keep rocking your power, igniting your fire, and making waves in the service industry. If you loved today's episode, please do me a quick favor. Take a screenshot, post it, and tag us at Ladies Kickin' Ass. Be sure to include the link to your favorite episode. Your support in spreading the word means the world to us as we aim to empower even more women. Hit that subscribe button to stay tuned for more kick-ass episodes. And don't forget, a 5-star review is the ultimate high five. Connect with us on social media. All the links are in the show notes. Thank you for being part of our tribe. Now go kick some serious ass, lady.